Time, the ultimate currency, redefining wealth in the 21st century. Welcome to the Black CEO Podcast, where we challenge conventional wisdom and explore ideas that can transform your life and career. Today, we're in for a mind bending journey that will revolutionize how you think about time, wealth, and personal fulfillment. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of sitting down with Petrina Thomas, a visionary leader and time management guru who's been shaking up boardrooms and living rooms alike with her radical ideas about success and happiness. Petrina isn't just another self help guru, she's a force of nature, a paradigm shifter who's helping people reclaim their lives 1 hour at a time. Her work has sparked a quiet revolution, empowering individuals to break free from the rat race and discover true abundance. Now, let me ask you a question that might make you squirm a little. What's your most valuable possession? Uh, Go ahead. Take a moment to think about it. Is it your house, your car, that vintage watch collection you've been curating? Or maybe it's your impressive stock portfolio. Well, I hate to break it to you, but you're wrong. Dead wrong. Your most precious commodity isn't something you can buy, sell, or trade on Wall Street. It's not something you can show off at parties or pass down to your kids. No, your most valuable asset is something far more elemental, something so fundamental that we often take it for granted. Time. That's right, folks. Time. Those 24 hours you get every single day, no more, no less. It's the great equalizer. Whether you're Jeff Bezos or Joe from the corner store, we all get the same allotment. But how we use those hours, that's where the magic happens. That's where lives are made or broken, dreams are realized or forgotten, and legacies are built or squandered. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Come on, we've heard this time is precious spiel before. What's the big deal? Well, buckle up, because what Petrina shared with me is about to blow your mind and potentially change your life. You see, our society has been playing a cruel trick on us. We've been conditioned to believe that wealth is about accumulation, more money, more stuff, more status symbols. But Petrina argues, and I'm inclined to agree, that this consumption driven mindset is actually designed to decrease our personal wealth, not enhance it. Think about it. How many hours of your life have you traded away to buy things you don't really need? How much time have you spent managing, maintaining, and worrying about your possessions? It's a never ending cycle that keeps us running on a hamster wheel, always chasing the next big thing, never feeling truly satisfied. But what if we've been looking at wealth all wrong? What if true wealth isn't about what you own, but about how you spend your time? Petrina shared a metaphor that hit me like a ton of bricks. She said, imagine your time as a garden. Every hour is a seed. Some seeds you plant will grow into beautiful flowers or nourishing fruits. Others might grow into weeds that choke out the good plants. The question is, what kind of garden are you cultivating with your time? Let that sink in for a moment. What kind of garden are you growing with your hours, your days, your years? Now, I'm not here to make you feel guilty about binge watching your favorite show or scrolling through social media. We all need downtime and entertainment. But I'm here to challenge you to become more intentional about how you spend your time. Because here's the kicker. While we often treat time as if it's infinite, it's actually the most finite resource we have. We can always make more money, but we can never make more time. Each second that ticks by is gone forever. Poof, never to return. So, how do we start treating our time with the respect it deserves? How do we shift from being time wasters to time investors? Now, Petrina offered some practical strategies that I'm excited to share with you. First up, the time audit. For 1 week, I want you to become a detective of your own life. Keep a detailed log of how you spend every single hour. And I mean every hour, even those late night Netflix sessions or those moments when you're just checking your phone. Be brutally honest with yourself. No judgment, just observation. At the end of the week, take a good hard look at where your time went. Were you surprised, disappointed, maybe even a little shocked? This exercise alone can be a massive wake up call. One of Petrina's clients, a high powered executive named Sarah, did this exercise and was horrified to discover she was spending an average of 4 hours a day on social media. That's 28 hours a week, more than a full day, scrolling through other people's highlight reels instead of living her own life. This realization was the catalyst for a complete lifestyle overhaul that led to Sarah starting her own successful business and rekindling her passion for painting. But knowing where your time goes is just the first step. The next crucial phase is prioritization. And I'm not talking about your run of the mill to do list. I'm talking about aligning your time with your core values and life goals. Petrina challenged me to identify my top 5 values and then examine how much of my time I was actually dedicating to those areas. The results were Uh, well, let's just say they were humbling. I realized I was spending more time worrying about my stock portfolio than I was nurturing my relationships with my family, even though family was supposedly my top priority. This disconnect between our stated values and how we actually spend our time is more common than you might think. But here's the good news. Once you're aware of it, you can start to make changes. One technique Petrina swears by is the power hour. This is a dedicated 60-minute block where you focus intensely on your most important task of the day. No distractions, no multitasking, just pure focused effort. It's amazing what you can accomplish when you give something your undivided attention. I tried this myself, dedicating 1 power hour each day to working on a book I'd been putting off for years. Within 3 months, I had a complete first draft. It was a powerful reminder of what's possible when we harness the full potential of our time. But here's where Petrina's philosophy gets really interesting. She challenged me to think about time, not just in terms of productivity, but in terms of joy and fulfillment. She asked, what activities make you lose track of time? When do you feel most alive and energized? These are the areas where we should be investing more of our precious hours. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. That sounds great, but I have bills to pay. I can't just quit my job to follow my bliss. And you're right. We live in the real world with real responsibilities, but that's where creativity comes in. Petrina shared stories of clients who found innovative ways to incorporate more of what they love into their daily lives. One woman, a corporate lawyer named Maria, started dedicating her lunch breaks to painting, her long lost passion. Within a year, she was selling her art on the side and feeling more fulfilled than ever. Eventually, she transitioned to part-time legal work, allowing her to pursue her art more seriously without sacrificing financial stability. Another client, a busy executive named Tom, realized he was missing out on his kids' childhoods. He started a tradition of adventure Saturdays where he'd take his children on spontaneous day trips. Not only did this strengthen his family bonds, but it also rejuvenated him for the work week ahead. Tom reported that his productivity actually increased because he was more motivated and energized. These stories illustrate a crucial point. When we invest our time wisely, we're not just improving our own lives, we're positively impacting those around us. Happy, fulfilled individuals actually create ripple effects in their families, workplaces, and communities. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, technology. Our devices, while incredibly useful, can also be massive time sucks if we're not careful. Petrina advocates for regular digital detoxes, periods where we disconnect from our screens and reconnect with the physical world and the people in it. She shared a powerful personal anecdote about a week-long camping trip where she had no choice but to unplug. At first, she felt anxious and disconnected, but as the days went by, she found herself more present, more creative, and more at peace than she had been in years. This experience led her to implement regular tech-free days in her life, a practice she credits with boosting her productivity and overall well-being. Now, I'm not suggesting we all need to become Luddites or move to the woods, but we do need to be more mindful of how technology is impacting our time and our relationships. Are we using it as a tool to enhance our lives, or is it using us? One strategy Petrina recommends is the phone stack game for social gatherings. Everyone puts their phones in a stack, and the first person to reach for their device has to pay for the meal or drinks. It's a fun way to encourage real, undistracted connection. But perhaps the most profound insight Petrina shared was about the connection between time management and self-love. She believes that how we spend our time is a direct reflection of how much we value ourselves. Think about it. When we constantly say yes to others at the expense of our own needs and desires, what message are we sending to ourselves? When we procrastinate on our goals or dreams, aren't we essentially saying that we don't believe we're worthy of achieving them? On the flip side, when we set healthy boundaries, when we make time for self-care, when we pursue our passions, we're telling ourselves that we matter, that our happiness and well-being are important. This shift in mindset from seeing time management as a chore to viewing it as an act of self-love can be truly transformative. It turns I have to do this into I get to do this. It transforms obligation into opportunity. Petrina challenged me, and now I'm challenging you. For the next week, before you commit to anything, ask yourself, is this a loving use of my time? This simple question can be a powerful filter for decision making. Now, I want to address something important. This focus on personal time and well being might sound selfish to some, but here's the truth. When we take care of ourselves, when we're fulfilled and energized, we have so much more to give to others. It's like the airplane oxygen mask analogy. You have to secure your own before you can help those around you. In fact, Petrina argues that prioritizing our time and well being is one of the most selfless things we can do. Because when we're operating at our best, we're in a position to make our greatest contribution to the world. She shared a story of a client, a burned out nonprofit executive named Alex, who was on the verge of quitting her job. After implementing some of these time management and self care strategies, she not only stayed in her role, but was able to expand her organization's impact significantly. By taking care of herself, she was able to help even more people. Alex started by implementing strict work hours and actually using her vacation days. She also took up meditation and started a gratitude journal. These small changes had a ripple effect. She became more efficient at work, more present with her team, and more creative in problem solving. Within a year, her nonprofit had doubled its outreach and secured major new funding sources. This story beautifully illustrates how investing in ourselves can amplify our ability to serve others. It's not selfish, it's strategic. Now, let's talk about another crucial aspect of time management that Petrina emphasizes: the power of saying no. In our culture of constant hustle and FOMO, fear of missing out, saying no can feel almost taboo, but Petrina argues that it's one of the most powerful tools we have for reclaiming our time and, by extension, our lives. She shared a story about a client named David, a successful entrepreneur who was drowning in commitments. He was on the board of 3 different companies, mentored several startups, and was constantly being asked to speak at events or contribute to projects. On paper, he was living the dream. In reality, he was exhausted, stressed, and feeling disconnected from what truly mattered to him. Petrina worked with David to develop what she calls a no thanks strategy. They created a set of criteria for evaluating opportunities based on his core values and long term goals. If an opportunity didn't align with these criteria, David learned to say no thank you without guilt or explanation. The results were transformative. Within 6 months, David had stepped down from 2 of the boards, cut his mentoring commitments in half, and become much more selective about speaking engagements. He used the reclaimed time to start a passion project, a nonprofit focused on bringing entrepreneurship education to underserved communities. Not only did he feel more fulfilled, but he was making a more meaningful impact than ever before. This story highlights a crucial truth. Saying no to the good allows us to say yes to the great. It's about quality over quantity, impact over busyness. But let's be real. Saying no isn't always easy. It can be particularly challenging for women and people from certain cultural backgrounds who have been socialized to be accommodating and put others' needs first. Petrina acknowledges this and offers a powerful reframing. When you say no to something that doesn't align with your values or goals, you're saying yes to yourself and your priorities. You're honoring your time and, by extension, honoring those who truly matter in your life. Now, let's circle back to this idea of redefining wealth. In our society, we're conditioned to think of wealth primarily in financial terms. But Petrina challenges us to expand our definition. She proposes a holistic view of wealth that encompasses 5 key areas. 1, time wealth, the freedom to spend your time as you choose. 2, financial wealth, having enough money to meet your needs and some of your wants. 3, relationship wealth, deep, meaningful connections with others. 4, health, wealth, physical and mental well-being. 5, experience wealth, a rich tapestry of diverse experiences and memories. When we start viewing wealth through this multifaceted lens, it becomes clear that chasing money at the expense of everything else is a fool's errand. True wealth, true abundance comes from finding a balance among all these areas. Petrina shared a poignant story about a client named Robert, a high-powered Wall Street executive who had all the trappings of traditional success: a 7-figure salary, a penthouse apartment, a sports car collection. But he was also divorced, estranged from his kids, battling health issues from stress and overwork, and couldn't remember the last time he'd taken a vacation. By most conventional measures, Robert was wealthy. But when he did Petrina's wealth audit, an exercise where you rate yourself in each of the 5 wealth areas, he realized he was actually impoverished in most areas of his life. This realization hit Robert like a ton of bricks. He decided to make drastic changes. He negotiated a reduced role at his firm, giving up a significant portion of his salary but gaining back 20 hours a week. He used this time to reconnect with his kids, start a fitness routine, and pursue his long-forgotten passion for photography. A year later, Robert's life was unrecognizable in the best possible way. His relationships were healing, his health had improved dramatically, and he had a renewed sense of purpose. Yes, his bank account was smaller, but he felt richer than he ever had before. This story beautifully illustrates the power of redefining wealth. When we expand our vision of what it means to be truly rich, we open ourselves up to a level of abundance and fulfillment that no amount of money can buy. So, as we wrap up this mind-bending journey through the landscape of time and wealth, I want to leave you with a challenge. For the next 30 days, I want you to become the CEO of your time. Treat every hour as a valuable asset to be invested wisely. Be intentional about where your time goes. Align it with your values and priorities. Start small. Maybe it's dedicating 15 minutes a day to that hobby you've been neglecting. Maybe it's having one uninterrupted conversation with a loved one each day, phones away. Or maybe it's finally tackling that project you've been putting off. Whatever it is, commit to it. Because here's the beautiful thing about time. While we can't make more of it, we can dramatically increase its value by how we choose to spend it. Remember, time is not just money, it's life itself. It's the stuff our days are made of, the currency of our existence. And when we start treating it with the respect it deserves, we open ourselves up to a level of wealth that goes far beyond dollars and cents. So, I'll leave you with this. If time is your most valuable commodity, how will you invest it today? The choice is yours, and the dividends can be life-changing. It's time to rewrite the rules of success. It's time to redefine wealth. It's time to reclaim your time, and in doing so, reclaim your life. The clock is ticking. What will you do with your next hour, your next day, your next year? The power is in your hands. Use it wisely, use it joyfully, and watch as your true wealth grows beyond measure. Thank you.